eyes and your ears up here. Uh-oh. Go get some paper towels. All right. Thank you. We are on chapter 51. Chapter 51. A question for Van Leer. And remember, he wanted to talk to Van Leer because he didn't think it was right that his mom, go get another paper towel. Don't just sweep milk all over the floor, please. Because he didn't think it was right that his mom didn't do what she did, or, what she was in trouble for. All right. And he was worried about talking to him because he knew that he also was the one who kind of made some trouble for his mom. So all Sunday, I just want to get back to Mom. It's hard to know what I know about her confession. The Reses at Blue River talk about rising up, but they also talk about reconciling with themselves. Mom has done that, but I haven't. I hate the badness between us. I know that I was yelling at her. Now I have to wait for Tuesday when the Bucking Blue bookmobile will take me back to Blue River before we can talk again. On Sunday night, there's trouble in the Van Leer house. Zoe Samuels has a toothache. She makes it almost through supper, but then she's moaning. Something's wrong, she says, and her jaw hangs. She leaves the table and goes to sit in the family room couch. She calls Mom. She calls, Mom, it really hurts. It's throbbing. I'm so sorry, her mom says. We'll get you through the night, and I'll call the dentist first thing in the morning. Zoe's mom gives her 2 pills and water to wash them down. Then she gives her a wet tea bag to bite on. I rush down the hall to her bedroom and bring the pillow from her bed. Mr. Van Leer, go get another one, Max. Just leave that one there. Leave that one there. Go get another one. Mr. Van Leer sits beside Zoe. He's doing some silly stepdad Tom stuff. Stop sweeping it onto the floor, please. He's flapping a tie at Zoe, his tie at Zoe, and talking like a cartoon character. She squirms away from him and buries her face in the pillows. Are you kidding me? The muffled version of Zoe groans. The tooth is killing me, and you're bugging me. She reaches one arm backwards to swat him away. Oh, dear, he said. Robin, this really isn't good. Mr. Van Leer strokes Zoe's arm. He tells her he's sorry. I just want to go to bed, Zoe says. She cups her face in her hand. I want to sleep. Mom, what if I can't sleep? Then you'll rest. Come on, let's see if we can get you comfortable. They head down the hall together towards Zoe's room. That leaves me with Thomas Van Leer. What do you say we tackle the dishes, he asks. So we do that. I clear. He rinses and loads the Van Leer dishwasher. I take the damp cloth and wipe the table. When I turn around, I see that Mr. Van Leer has been watching me. You've been rather pensive today, he tells me. Do you know what I mean about that? And so I was actually thinking to myself as I read that, Louise, I was thinking, what does the word pensive mean? And then he says, do you know what I mean by that? And so I'm thinking, they're going to tell me what that word means, so I'm going to be paying attention. Yeah, you mean that you see me thinking about stuff. Okay, pensive must mean thoughtful, right? Really thinking about something. Exactly. There's a lot to think about. Harry, that sounds heavy. You're young. You shouldn't have any worries. Why don't you tell me what's on your mind? Maybe I can worry about it instead. He faces me and waits. Troy, make good choices. That is not a good choice. Well, for one thing, I've been thinking about what you said, that you will help me in any way you can. Van Leer looks back at me blankly. You said it when you were interviewed on Counting on Butler County with Desiree Riggs. Oh, right, he blinks. He rolls his shoulders like he got a bug on his back. And I will, he says. You know I'm writing stories for my assignment, right? Yes, you're interviewing prisoners or residents. I hesitate. I think there's something wrong with one of the stories. Well, why is that? Do you think that do you mean that you think that you've uncovered something? He leans in at me and I think he wants to hear something sinister. Sinister means like bad. He means he thinks Perry uncovered something bad. Like that, they did something worse or something. And that's not what he uncovered, huh? Which story? Whose story? My mom's, I tell him. He moves as if I pushed a button on him. That squirm button. Perry, I know you want to believe your mom is innocent. That's perfectly natural. And I wish it were so, but it's not. Now, you know why she's incarcerated, don't you? I know the charge was manslaughter. Exactly. I know that must be hard. I wish you never had to know anything about her crime. Well, it used to be I didn't need to know. But now it's keeping us apart. I need to find out everything I can. So I know you have a lot of files in your office. It's almost impossible to say the next thing. But I've got to do this. I wonder if you can get my mom's file. I have her case file already, Perry. You what? I'm about to fall like a post. He begins to explain. See, my job is to review her file before her parole date and make a recommendation to the parole board. That's what I was doing when I uncovered your situation, you being raised at the prison. I narrow my eyes slightly. But I thought, and Zoe thought, that you started looking after you heard I lived there. I asked for many files, Perry. Your mother's was one of them. I was pointed to it by what Zoe said. Well, if you want to know, living at Blue River was fine with me. He smiles a little. Well, it might have seemed fine, but it wasn't right, he said. I wouldn't try to make you understand that, Perry, because that's the stuff we grown-ups have to sort out. Are you still looking at it, at her case or file or whatever? I am. You'll do it in time for her parole hearing. Your mom doesn't have a date, he said. Her application for parole is pending. That means it hasn't been accepted, Perry. Amy, back up. Go back to your seat. I'm staring at him and he's staring at me. Then I know. This is why Mom was so low just before I left Blue River. It wasn't just that Van Leer was taking me out of there. This is why she never carries her New Start folder with her anywhere. Mom knows she isn't getting out so soon. She didn't want to tell me. My insides began to shake. I look around the spaces inside the Van Leer kitchen. How long then? How long will I be here? How long away from Mom? You, I said to Van Leer. You handed her a down letter, didn't you? I close my eyes for a second, but it makes me dizzy. I'm familiar with the term. It's what it says on the inside. It's what they say on the inside, but that's used for more when it comes to the parole board at the hearing. Van Leer speaks slowly and evenly. This is what I've done. Is a request for a formal postponement of the parole hearing to allow time for an investigation. So a little different. You need to hurry up and go back to your seat, Sir Hay. But it means she stays. She serves more time, I say. I've seen it happen to other residents. Not often. It's a postponement, he says again. His tone is cool and easy. I want to run from his house, but I make myself say, and I ask him, when does her parole hearing get put back on the timeline? I hardly pull in a breath. I'm trying to hide it from Van Leer. It hasn't been decided, he said. His eyes shift away from me now. I have to get through her case. It's complicated by many factors, Perry. It's all because I was living at Blue River, isn't it? That's the part you care about. You got the warden suspended too, didn't you? Perry, it wouldn't be right for me to tell you more. The adults are taking care of it, he says. He steps towards me. I step back. I promise, he says, my goal is to help you. Chapter 52, Brian. Zoe Samuels was up half the night with her aching tooth. I know because I was up too, boiling mad at Mr. Thomas Van Leer and letting all the bad news chew a hole in me. I wake up tired in the morning. I lie on the mat in the Van Leer closet and look at my timeline. Am I going to have to add to that? to make it go all the way up around these walls. I roll over and press my face into the pillow until my nose feels flat. I scream into it. Then I growl. I cannot stand you, Thomas Van Leer. Zoe's mom is letting her sleep late this morning. They're going to the dentist later today. I tiptoe past her door and make a get well wish for that tooth. I walk into the school alone. I look at my feet or at nothing way up ahead of me. Hey, Cook! Brian Morris aims at me with both pointer. What, Louise? Fingers. If you can wait at all, please do, but if you need to go, go. His friends look on. The 1 mile run coming up soon. Prepare to be crushed, he said, for the second year in a row. I've got nothing to say to him. I haven't been thinking about the run. I haven't even been running. I stumble forward on tired feet. The boys laugh, then scatter. Then I see Miss Maya in the lobby coming to check with me. She does it almost every day. I tell her about Zoe's tooth. Oh, misery. Tell her I hope she feels better soon, she says. Then she asks me, how are you doing with your coming to Butler County project, Perry? I tried to make it all around the room on Friday, but I missed checking with you and Zoe. Miss Maya's question makes me drop my head. Good, I say. And I manage a nod while looking at my shoes. The stories can be hard, you know. I can imagine it's very emotional. She's exactly right. I don't want to talk about the stuff I found out about Mom's story. It feels too private. Maybe not for Miss Maya, but for the school lobby. I've got the stories written out, I say. I guess that's fine, but I took some videos, and I keep wishing I could use that too. Oh, sure, Miss Maya says. That would be neat. Videography, right? You still have time. I don't know how to help you with that myself, Perry, but did you know there's a group of kids that meet at the library? They have a video club. Yeah, I know. I went to use the room once, but I don't know. Go again. See what they're up to. Ask questions or look at the computer program on your own. There, that's your assignment for today, she says with a grin. Go check that out. She looks at the clock, gives me a nod, and heads off to the classroom. I spend the morning trying to take extra good class notes to share with Zoe when I see her tonight. I wonder about her tooth. I miss her something awful, especially when lunchtime comes. I'm one of the last kids through the line. It's Perry, Miss Jenrick says. She swipes my card with a jingle and a smile. She taps in my special code. I wonder if she'll say anything about seeing me at Blue River. No Zoe today, she asks. She pushes her lips sideways to blow her feathering earring back from her cheek. I tell her about Zoe's tooth. Oh, ow, Miss Jenrick cringes. I think she's one of those people who can't stand to talk about tooth pains. The way some people can't stand to talk about spiders or snakes. I take my tray past Brian Morris and his friends to go to the nook at the end of the table. It's weird not to have Zoe across from me. I look at the spaghetti, the breadsticks, and the zucchini slices on my tray. I look at Zoe's empty spot while I eat. It's not long before a balled-up napkin flies my way. I just sit back and ignore the first one, but the second one lands on my tray. I look at the boys. I look hard. Where's your girlfriend? One of them asks. It's not his girlfriend, another says. She's his sister now. He got adopted. No, I didn't. I sit up and spin to face him. I'm not adopted. I have a mom. Well then, why did you move into Mad Zoe's house? The kid curled his fingers into claws. Brian Morris is being quiet. I wonder what's up with him. She's not mad, Zoe, I say. She's pretty calm now, in case you haven't noticed. Funny thing is, I don't feel calm, and I think my voice sounds snarly. I look at my lunch tray. I don't want food anymore. The napkins have spaghetti sauce on them from somebody else's spaghetti. That's a gross out thing for me. But I can't believe they said I was adopted, and they mean by Van Leer. I want a pillow to scream into. Mrs. Jenrick's heavy boots come stomping over to the bench across from me. Clank, clank, clank. She jingles her way into Zoe's place. Okay, if I take my break here with you? She tilts her pink head at me. Sure, I say. She smiles at me when she shakes up a milk carton in one hand. She strips the paper off the straw. She looks at Brian and his friends. Hi, guys. What's up? How's the Piscetti? She asks, pointing to their pasta on their trays. Good, one boy says, and he ducks his head a little. Yeah, because it doesn't look that good. She points her shiny black fingernails at the napkin balled up beside me and wrinkles her nose. Then she grins, and the boys start to laugh. Hey, Perry, do you need your spoon? No, I say. I hand it to her. She uses her spoon to push the napkin ball back to the boys. Garbage, she says. You guys are being a little yucky, aren't you? Brian Morris shrugs and snorts a little. Yeah, he says. His face is red. Yeah, says Miss Jenrick. You could probably cut that out. She sips milk up her straw and looks right at me. Then she says, hey, Perry, sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to you the other day at Blue River. The time runs short on visiting days, doesn't it? I feel frozen because of privacy. Hers, not mine. Brian and his friends already know that my mom is a resident. Miss Jenrick is looking at me. She has no fear. Will you be there next Saturday? I'll introduce you to my dad. Your dad? Mr. Wendell? I whisper it. She smiles. Mr. Wendell Jenrick. She points to her name pin. She even turns a little bit so the boys can see. That's my pop, she says it plain and takes another sip of milk. I miss him like the dickens. I gave her a small smile. I still wouldn't be able to eat my lunch, and it's not like I'm happy that Mr. Wendell Jenrick is incarcerated, but I'm sitting across from a real friend. That's an unexpected win. Jimmy, don't take a... You made a big mess. Be careful, please, guys. After school, I went to the library on my own. I start off in the history room, but I only stay a few minutes. It's lonely without Zoe. I get it into my head. I'll take another look at the video editing program like Miss Maya suggests. It's not a video boot camp day, so maybe, just maybe, one little thing could go right, and I'll find that Brian and his friends are doing something else today. The door is open, so I step inside. I look over at the computer Zoe and I used a few days ago. I'm staring at the back of Brian Morris's head. Of course, he got in there first. I begin to turn away, then I stop. On the screen in front of Brian, I see Big Ed. It's a still shot that zooms slowly inwards for several seconds, then stops. Brian taps the trackpad. He hits an arrow, and the shot of Big Ed slowly zooms again. This time, more soft music plays. Hey! I slice the quiet. What are you doing? Nothing. Brian sits up out of the chair. His cheeks turn red. Doesn't look like nothing. That's my file. I'm loud. Brian glances towards the library's main floor, looking guilty and nervous. There must be rules about privacy and messing with other people's uploads, but I bet Brian knows that. Okay, not nothing. He tries to keep his voice low. I was just doing some editing. Show what? Show your napkin thrower friends? Spread around for no good purpose? A speck of spit flies off my tongue. No, to show you how to... Where'd you get that photo anyway? I extracted it from your video as a still. I put music with it. But you could record your voice to tell the story. He's talking fast, too fast, like he's exploding with information. No, I say. I must be like crazy to have listened to him this long. Zoe was right about Brian Morris. I don't trust him. Delete it, I say. I tell him. In fact, never mind. I'll do it myself. I barge into his place at the computer. My fingers jitter along the trackpad. Idiot, I mutter as I click Big Ed away. I mean me. I'm the idiot for leaving the videos on the computer. I don't know what Brian thinks. I don't care. The computer shows a box asking if I'm sure if I want to delete the file permanently. I click yes. I haul myself up and head to the door. Brian Morris is calling after me. You could sign out a laptop and teach yourself the program. It's easy. I'm trying to get away from him. The strap of my backpack catches and drags me backwards. I yank it. I take out a chair and I have to stop to pick it up. Every person from every table in the library turns to look at Perry Cook. Chapter 53, A Chance Meeting. My heart is still pounding when I reach the circulation desk. Mr. Olson is on duty. I have special permission today to walk over to Mr. Van Leer's office and wait there to ride back for the house. Will you please sign me out, I say? Leaving rather early, aren't you? Mr. Olson does his signature finger, point, curl, release at the clock. I can't believe it either. I'm choosing to go to Mr. Van Leer's office well before I have to. A little bit, I mumble. 32 minutes is more than a little, but I won't point that out to Mr. Olson. I guess there's no harm as long as you go directly. He signs me out. I cross the brick street at the corner and head for the building across from the courthouse, the one with the varnished doors. I grasp the brass handle and stand looking at the shiny, honey-colored wood. I remember how I took the photo of this door because I knew Mom would like it, and she did. I'm thinking of the New Start folder again. Has she looked at it at all? Does she still keep her eye on the rental house on Button Lane? I don't think so, not after what Van Leer has done. I puff out an angry breath over my lips and squeeze the brass handle. I shouldn't have come so early. Last thing I want to do is sit in his office with him. I decide to go in and sit on the stairs and read for a while. I'm about to pull the door open when something makes me stop. It's a feeling, like a pull of a magnet through the air. I step back from the door. I turn my head and look at a spot several buildings down the street. I see my magnet. It's Warren. Warren Doherty? Time seems to slow down when she looks up from her purse, which is dangling from her arm, rocking like a cradle. Her eyelids are lowered, but they slowly rise. Her head turns slowly. My heart is spread out under my ribs like a huge warm hand. The warden's shoulders drop away from her ears. She straightens up tall. I watch her lips form my name. Perry! We're in real time again. I run to meet her. There's so much to say, and I go saying it all fast as I can. Ever since I moved out of Blue River, I have the feeling that the warden isn't supposed to see me. No one has said so, but here on the street, I feel as if a hook will swing out of the sky and catch me from the shirt and pull me away from her. That doesn't happen. We talk and talk. Warren Doherty wants to know how I am, so I tell her. When I get to the part about writing Blue Ribbon stories, she turns her face upwards and takes a big breath. Wonderful. So important, Perry. I wish I'd gotten your story too, Warden. You're so much about my Blue River family. It's hard to speak. And you're mine, she said. I'm so sorry about everything. I hear that you're suspended. Oh, she seems surprised that I know. Yes, but it's okay, she said. I've left your buddy Fojo in charge, and I'm comfortable with that. But if you hadn't let me stay at Blue River, I have no regrets, Perry. She says it soundly. Miss Maya told me you'd feel that way, I said. Do you think you'll get to go back? Will you get to go be the warden again? Well, it could happen. But things are being decided about me. I'm also deciding about things. She smiles. I'm going to be just fine, come what may. Do you think my mom will be all right? She will be. The warden's eyes narrow a little. She nods. Your mom is a strong woman. You know what Thomas Van Leer did? He got her hearing postponed. I nearly choked on the words. Yes, she says, her mouth a line now. She raises her index finger. He can drag out his investigation while he tries to make this case, but he can't postpone forever, Perry. That's the law. You take comfort in that. I do, because it's the first good piece of news I've had all day. I'm dying to ask how soon the warden thinks it could happen. When we get back on the timeline, I almost tell her what else I know about Mom's confession being a lie. We should never have been at Blue River at all. Then I wonder if the warden knows that too. All my life, Warden Doherty has known everything in the whole world. I shouldn't keep you, Perry. I've got my errands, and I suspect you're supposed to be somewhere yourself. She looks past me down the street towards the varnished door. Warden Doherty, I know she has to go, so I ask quickly, when Mom does that parole hearing, will you be there? Will you be allowed? She raises her eyebrows at me. Let them try and stop me. Yes, I say, she'll speak in Mom's favor. We need that hearing. The warden opened her arms and we hug. What luck running into you today, Perry. I've missed you so much. She steps back and looks over me. I still have your suitcase, I say. I don't need it back. It's your suitcase now. I thank the warden in every which way I can, right there on the street. And I figure she knows it isn't just because she gave me the suitcase. When she turns to go, I notice something. She moves slowly, a lot less like the wind-up toy on wheels, less like the warden I've known my whole life. Let's see. We might be able to do another chapter real quick. Chapter 54, Alone in the Office of Van Leer. After my surprise meeting with the warden, I go back up to the street to Van Leer's office, and I let myself in through the varnished door. I'm not so early anymore, but my plan isn't the same. My plan is the same. I'm going to sit on the stairs and read until 5 o'clock. When I look at the stairway, someone happens to be looking down. She's a receptionist who sits at a desk in the open space on the landing. Oh, she says, you're the boy that you're staying with the Van Leer family. She shakes her head as if she's got webs in her brain. It's Perry, isn't it? I nod. I force myself to smile. Jimmy, no, you need to sit down and eat that right so you don't make more of a mess. At least she doesn't think I've been adopted. Come on, she says with a big sweep of her hand. So I climb, which each step I'm thinking, darn, yuck, darn, yuck. I'm going to be stuck hanging out with Mr. Van Leer after all. I'm not sure I can stand it. You're early, the receptionist says. Mr. Van Leer is still over at the courthouse. I don't expect him back for another 20 minutes. Good, I almost say aloud. She checks her desk clock. 4:40 p.m. Mr. Van Leer told me to have you wait in his office if you arrive before he did. I don't think he could expect you this early, she says, but let's stick with the plan. She motions. I follow her down the hall. Sorry to say it, Mr. Van Leer's late returning from court more often than he's early. I don't tell her that that's fine with me. The door is open. Mr. Van Leer's rolling chairs pushed back from the desk. I think about taking a running jump at it, ride it across the floor like I used to do at the warden's chair at Blue River. But the receptionist is watching, and I only make it a few feet before I crash into Van Leer's bookcase. Besides, I'm not sure I'm still Perry Cook who rides on chairs. I'll clear you a little space at the table. The receptionist begins to push a stack of boxes to the left. She gives a little grunt as she sets one up on another. Whew! She takes a breath. Paper is heavy. I bet you need a snack. Thanks, I say, but I had a granola bar at the library. The granola bar makes me think of Zoe and her bad tooth. There must be news about that by now. I hope she's feeling better. I hope she can eat. If she's been with me, she could have met the warden. Well, I'll be down the hall by my desk if you need anything. The receptionist gives me a little wave as she leaves. I'm alone in Mr. Van Leer's office. I set my backpack down and pull a chair up to the long table. My eyes go straight to the box, first one and then the other. They're lined up with the ends facing out, and each has a label on it. They're like shoe boxes on a store shelf, only bigger. Inside of every one is somebody's story. Inside one is the story of my mom. I pull my bottom lip inside my teeth and bite it. I look at the labels. Some are typed, some are written by hand, but all have 3 lines on them. A case number, a date, a name, and a date. Right in front of me, I see case number 124289. The name is Hayes M. The date is 6/21/98. On top of Hayes, I see Penders and Brown. I begin to scan every box on top for the letter C for Cook. My heart jumps when I see COO, but the rest is PER for Cooper. Where is Cook, I wonder? I stand at the table and do a slow turn around the office. I see shelves and books and documents on the walls. Mr. Van Leer's favorite, his Spark Award. He said he had Mom's file in his office. It had to be here, unless he lied. I go over to his desk. There are lots of paper there, but none says Cook. And no box on the floor nearby, which is where it seems to me a box he's working from would be. Liar, I think. He doesn't have it. He's not helping. I give up and go back to the table to start my homework. That's when I see more boxes, lots of them. They're stacked on the floor underneath the left end of the table. There are 3 rows of them, stacked 3 high, and they're double deep, so 18 in all. I glance over my shoulder at the open door and wonder if Van Leer could be on his way. I feel like it hasn't been that long yet. He's late more often than he's early. That's what the receptionist had said, and she must know. The office clock says 4:46. I read the labels in the front row and find Holmes, Goldman, Tarno, and 6 more names that are not Cook. I got to get to that back row, but what if Mr. Van Leer comes in? I'm supposed to be doing homework. I spill my whole backpack, books, notebooks, cameras, pencils, a few crumbs, and a granola bar wrapper onto the table in the space the receptionist made for me. I flip my notebook open. I toss my pencil to the floor. If Van Leer catches me moving boxes, I can say I'm looking for my pencil. My heart pounds. I'm not used to lying. I squat down on the floor and move the first stacks of boxes. They're heavy, but they slide on the carpet. On my hands and knees, I tilt my head to read the back row. Angel, Jameson, Martin. Jimmy, stop. We're not just wasting a million paper towels. You need to stop. I slide the boxes back and pull the next row out. I'm looking at the first few letters only now. I see R-O-T-E-R-D-U-T. Still no cook. Darn. I stink a peek at the clock. It's 4:50. Move it, Perry, move it. Last row of boxes, last chance. I tuck myself below the table. K-U-S-O-S-K, no cook. My heart slides down into my gut. I shove the stack back into place and plump back down hard into my chair. I'm hot inside my fleece, and I'm mad. I thump my fist on the table. Somebody should know what a liar Van Leer is. Who is the boss of him anyway? I kick my feet out. My toe strikes something that feels like another box. Did I really miss the one box that was closest to me all this time? Could it be? I take a breath. Oh, please, oh, please. I lean sideways and look into the dark corner below the table. I squint and read Lawson. Ah! I shove the box hard with my foot. I feel it jam up against something else, and something behind it. I stretch my leg out under the corner of the table. I hook the Lawson box with my toe. I push it to the tiniest bits. I can see the one last box, the last box in the whole world, I think. I swallow. I bump Lawson again. In the last box, I see a C, and then an O. I suck breath. I feel dry. Feel the dry air in the office rimming my wide open eyeballs. I knock the box another inch and see an O, and then a K. Then I see the letter J, just like Jessica. My forehead gets an amazing smack on the edge of the table when I dive down to the box. I blink and shove the Lawson box out of my way. I put both hands on the one that says Cook J. I feel like I'm touching dynamite. The lid is free. A piece of plastic tape has been snapped. Van Leer wasn't lying. He looked in this box. But then I wonder, when? How long ago? Probably back when he got me yanked out of Blue River. I squeeze my eyes shut and I open them again. I can't stop to think about it now. I'm in the race of my life. I poke my head out to check the clock. It's 4:52. I pull the lid off the box and stare down at the stack of papers in the bottom. It seems like not that much, not when it's someone's whole life. These papers, I think, are older than I'm. But it's way too much to read in 8 minutes, if I even have 8 minutes. And I know the papers are full of giant words. This is the stuff the residents try to learn about in the law library at Blue River. I jiggle the collar of my fleece to fan my sweaty neck. I have to do something fast before Van Leer comes back from the courthouse. Think fast. I reach up to the table and I grab my camera. All right. Oh my goodness, we are getting closer and closer and closer to the end of the book. I'm going to keep reading fast and hopefully we can get to the end. A couple more.
I hope we can finish it tomorrow.